Y'all ever notice how everybody hates something until everybody loves that same exact thing? Like Crocs, for example. Bro, there was a point in time where Crocs was basically one of those things where people went, "What are those?" And bro, I kid you not, nobody wanted to be caught wearing those joints, man. You got roasted heavily for wearing them. And now people are rocking Crocs like they're designer shoes, dog. They got collabs with certain artists with all the limited edition things and little gibbet charms you could put on. People are even making gibbet charms, as a little side hustle, and I respect it. People are proud to wear these Crocs. But here's the funny thing though, the Croc didn't change necessarily because the shoe stayed exactly the same. The only thing that changed was how people looked at it. And that got me thinking, bro, how many opinions are actually ours? And how many did we borrow from everybody else? And Crocs aren't the only example, bro, because pineapple on pizza is another thing, man. Because, dog, have you actually tried it? Or did the internet tell you it was disgusting and you decided, I'm not gonna do it. I don't want people to think I'm one of those. Because if we're being real, that shit's gas, man. That thing will smack. And if you don't like it, fuck off. No, I'm just playing. I know hella people that swear they hate pineapple on pizza. And they never taken one bite from one slice ever in their life. They just grew up, hearing that, oh, that's gross. Why would you have fruit on pizza? And eventually that became their opinion too. Now, maybe you really do hate pineapple on pizza, but I disagree with the taste because I love it. But at least you tried it and you came to that conclusion yourself, and you have your own opinion. Don't just rent somebody else's opinion, bro. Because over the course of my life, I've realized something, dog, and it's that people love following the crowd. And I'm not saying that in a, oh, everyone's a sheep type of way. Honestly, I think we've all done it. Think about the trends, bro. Remember hoverboards back in that 2015-16 era? Everybody wanted one. Every kid wanted to ride one. Every YouTuber had one. And people thought that was hella futuristic at the time. Now you fast forward 10, 11 years later, nobody talks about a hoverboard anymore. I don't know if people even remember those things. Because nowadays, everybody's flying around on these damn electric scooters and these e-bikes. And that's not a bad thing. Trends come and go. But what's interesting is when we don't just follow trends, we follow the opinions. And honestly, why do we even do that? I don't think most people wake up and think to themselves, you know what? I'm gonna be fake today. Nah, dude. I think most people just wanna belong. Nobody wants to be that odd man out. Because think about it. If all your friends are roasting something, making fun of something, it's way easier to laugh with them than to be that one guy who goes, honestly, I fuck with it. And that takes so much confidence to say because sometimes we don't hate things because they're actually bad. We hate them because liking them feels embarrassing, and we don't want to be ostracized for our opinion. That's why Crocs are such a funny ass example because the shoes didn't change, man, and they didn't become cool magically overnight. The only thing that changed was the perception of it, and that people got the permission to feel like it was socially acceptable to wear. Because once one person said, yo, these are kind of fire, then another person started to go, yeah, I kind of agree with you. And then it becomes a whole like ongoing thing where people follow. And it makes me wonder, how often are we looking around the room before we even decide how we feel. Because it's not necessarily about the shoes, bro. It's not about the pizza, about the music, about people. It's about the ideas and about our outlook in life. Because, like I've been saying, man, how many opinions are actually ours? And did we just borrow it from everybody else? Now, don't get me wrong, man. Being a hater is one of the easiest things to do in this world. Dude, people get paid on Sports Center, ESPN just to be haters, man. Shoot, I'm a hater, especially when it comes to sports. Like as a basketball fan, like particularly NBA, as I said before in my previous videos, dude, there are players who are so unwatchable, bro. I'm telling you, their style of play drives me insane. SGA. But I swear to God, side note, he would be so beloved if he just didn't foul bait. But anyway, that's another thing. And as an NFL football fan, there are teams and players I absolutely love rooting against because there are specific commentators who glaze quarterbacks like they're Jesus walking on water. Like, dog, dude just freaking, hiked the ball and threw a check down. Again, one of those things for another story for another time. And honestly, sometimes criticism is deserved because if someone's being disrespectful, selfish, or putting other people's lives in danger, yeah, then call them out for their BS, bro. Because there are so many low lives popping wheelies in the streets, running red lights with no helmets on, weaving through traffic like everyone else is just a freaking NPC. Now, dog, that's not me blindly hating. That's just me saying your actions affect everyone around you and you look like a complete dumbass. But here's where it gets tricky. When does criticism turn into following the crowd? Because nowadays, people don't just dislike things, they build identities around hating them. And then social media pours gas on that fire, whether it's one clip, one headline, one tweet, a viral moment. That's all it takes, bro. And then suddenly everybody has that same exact opinion. And sometimes I'm not even sure it's their opinion anymore. Take that Drake and Kendrick beef, for example. Now, before all of that happened, these were two completely different artists who were respected for completely different reasons. Bro, Drake made hits, man. I grew up listening to Drake, man. That Thank Me Later, Take Care, Nothing Was the Same era, that was a hungry man, bro. And he made hit after hit. That man was everywhere. But at the same time, Kendrick gave us Section 80, Good Kid, Mad City, To Pimp a Butterfly. He's one of the greatest lyricists ever, bro. And he's a West Coast rapper. I like both, but after the beef, everybody started repeating the same jokes, man. Everybody started saying, "Hey, minor." Like, dude, everything just became so cliche because everybody started piling on. Now, don't get me wrong. Some of that criticism of Drake was absolutely fair, but my question isn't whether people were right or wrong. My question is, how many people actually listened to both artists and came to their own conclusion? And then, how many people joined in because it was simply the fun thing to do? Because that's what scares me about the internet, bro. Sometimes people aren't rewarded for thinking, they're just rewarded for agreeing. It's easier to repeat a meme than to form an opinion, and to joke than ask for the context. And it sure as hell is easier to fit in than to stand out. And maybe that's why I really respect people who are unapologetically themselves, that like what they like, and just say fuck y'all. The dude who never stopped wearing Crocs since day one is one of those people. And people who unapologetically order pineapple on pizza or listen to quote unquote washed music, or the miserable fan who roots for their teams who consistently lose every season. Sorry, Jets fans. But what I'm trying to say is there's that person who's willing to say, actually, I disagree. Because nowadays, dog, thinking for yourself almost feels like rebellious. And maybe authenticity isn't about always being different. Maybe it's just having the courage to decide for yourself. So, the next time you catch yourself hating something or loving something, on the contrary, ask yourself one simple question: did I choose this? Or did someone choose it for me? Alright, y'all. I appreciate y'all for tuning in with your boy Pinoy Spidey. This channel isn't about pretending I've got life figured out. It's me trying to figure it out with y'all. One conversation at a time. So, if this made you stop and think, let me know in the comments. What's one thing you genuinely like that everybody else clowns you for? For me, it's I fuck with Logic. He's one of my favorite artists. His No Pressure album has placed so much impact on my life with how I go about my life. And I swear, man, the messages in music are so powerful, bro. But anyways, I want to hear yours. So, until then, stay grounded, keep swinging, and don't get caught in the web. I'll catch y'all in the next one. Later.